In today's competitive market, progress is essential to viability. From keeping up with the latest technology to meeting evolving patient demands, providers must keep pace with their peers or risk being consumed by them. This can be a daunting task because progress means change. Due to many complex structures that must be brought together and areas where staff feel attached to existing methodologies, change management in healthcare is especially difficult. 70% of change initiatives fail. Typically, it's not change management that presents a challenge, it's resistance management. Even the best-laid plans will fail without commitment from your staff. But resistance among staff can be a good thing. When people are committed to established processes, it means they see value in the work they're doing. As a leader, you can use this to your advantage, but first, you need to understand where the resistance comes from and how to appeal to their concern. Regardless of their role in the organization, staff will fall into one of the following camps. Innovators. Often a small group, innovators are the ones who had the idea for the change initiative. Early adopters. This group validates the proposed initiative by throwing their full support behind it. They hop on board early because they believe in it too. Early majority. The people in this camp are half of the silent majority. They tend to be less vocal about their concerns, but can be easily swayed by the enthusiasm of early adopters. Late majority. Slower to come around, the second half of the silent majority is usually convinced by the early majority. Resistors. This small contingent of holdouts has strong opinions about why the idea will not work. Gaining their support will require addressing their concerns as well as the collective buy-in from the rest of the team. Regardless of camp, staff resistance is either logical, psychological, or sociological. Logical resistors disagree with the logistics. They don't think the payoff is worth the effort. To appeal to these concerns, you must show any short-term challenges can be overcome. Use rationalities, facts, and logical reasoning. Psychological resistance is emotional. These resistors have an attachment to how things are. Their feelings might be related to distrust of upper management, dislike of the person leading the change, or insecurity regarding their role in it. To gain buy-in, you must address their feelings. Sociological resistance walks the line between logic and emotion. These resistors are most concerned with how changes will impact team dynamics. Sway these resistors by focusing on group interests and the values of the organization. Of course, people aren't all so easily categorized, and many resistors will fall into more than one of these types. These complex resistors can be the hardest to convince, but they are also usually the most invested in the success of any project. How do you bring staff on board? Good communication. Your communication plan should detail what to expect at each stage of implementation, as well as the goal and benefits of making these changes. Include action steps and recognize achievements throughout the process to build trust and solicit buy-in from resistance groups. Here are 5 tips for creating a good communication plan. Another approach is to use nudge theory. Developed by a behavioral economist, nudge theory is the art of guiding people to the desired decision through the architecture of choice. This strategy encourages staff to play an active role in the decision-making process, which gives them a sense of ownership over the change and keeps them invested in its success. And finally, your greatest asset for resistance management is a change champion. Change champions are respected team members who can be found in the early adopter camp. They are valuable facilitators in the communication process whose enthusiasm and dedication to the cause can influence resistance groups. What does a change champion look like? Change champions are more approachable by staff than leadership, so they can reach all types of resistors, even those who are reserved about voicing their concerns. Identify change champions early, and if you can, select one from each department or area of practice that will be impacted. As key assets for your cause, they can also help to identify complex resistors and process issues as they arise. no progress is made without some challenges. To successfully execute change management, you must also account for some inevitable resistance. It can be the instinct of leadership to play the role of enforcer, putting a plan into action and demanding participation on principle. But this often results in more, albeit quieter, resistance. Instead, incorporate resistance management into your strategy from the onset. And remember, the key lies in establishing a true connection with your staff.